Hey everyone, I'm Thomas, tech support specialist here at FOAMit, and today we are going to go into troubleshooting with the EZB foamer. So the first thing that we're going to run through today is just a little bit of how this unit operates. First, you can see here we have our air connection on the back. This is where we're going to connect our air power to the unit. So first, air is going to come into the air regulator, which we are going to have set at 60 psi. After it goes through the regulator, it's going to get split into two paths. The first path is going to go to power the pump, and then the second path is going to go through our needle valve, which we use to adjust the foam quality, and then it's going to go through our check valve, which is going to be used to prevent any liquid from coming back into our air supply once we build pressure in the unit. From there, it's going to come down into our discharge tee, which is where it's going to first meet the solution and create the foam that's going to come out of our discharge line in the back. So the next thing we're going to go to is our solution path. We're going to start here at the pump because the pump is going to be pulling from three separate locations. We're going to be pulling from our water tank underneath here. We're going to be pulling from chemical A and chemical B. So to start that path, we're going to start down here underneath the tank where we have our PVC valve. We're going to want to make sure that's open so that we're getting water through. After it goes through there, it's going to come up to our strainer. After it goes through the strainer, it's going to come through this check valve that's in line. This is going to prevent any chemical that we're pulling further in the line from getting back into our fresh water. After it goes through this check valve, finally it comes into the injector where we're going to meet chemical A and chemical B. After all the chemicals are mixed, it's going to come up through our pump, out of our pump, and into our discharge tee, where foam will then be generated to come out the discharge line. A crucial part to operating our EZB system is making sure that we either have both sections of our Quick Connect wand when in use, or we're pairing this with our drain foam attachment. This is because inside of these we have mixing media. This mixing media is crucial to the system because it provides back pressure onto the injector that allows it to pull at the proper dilution. This will allow us for the best possible foam quality. So now that we've covered how the unit operates, let's dive into troubleshooting. The first three steps in troubleshooting for this unit are always going to be to make sure that the air regulator is set to 60 psi, that the needle valve is 3/4 of one turn open. This is different than any of our portable units, so this is a very crucial step on this unit. And the third would be to make sure that we're using either both sections of the EZB wand or we're matching it with the drain foam attachment, as mentioned earlier. The first issue that we're going to dive into today is what to do when your unit is pulling water but not pulling chemistry. The first thing that you want to check is your solution lines. These could be kinked, have holes in them, something that could be preventing flow or letting in air to the line. If you do notice air bubbles in the line, another good place to check is your Quick Connect fittings. These could be damaged or broken and can be letting air in that isn't letting your solution be pulled. The last thing that you're going to want to check is the metering tip. The metering tip is located inside of the injector bar. You're going to want to check this for any debris or buildup and clean as needed. If we've made it through these previous troubleshooting steps without identifying the problem, we can conclude that the reason you're not getting any chemical and pulling only water is your chemical injector and that it needs to be replaced. Next, we're going to talk about what to do when your unit is pulling chemical but not pulling any water. The first thing we're going to want to look at is the ball valve located on the bottom of the tank. We want to make sure that this is open and allowing water to flow through our suction line. The next thing we're going to want to do is make sure that we're getting water through our strainer. Make sure that it's clean and free of any debris. If we're getting water through our strainer, then our likely cause is going to be our check valve that needs to be replaced. It's likely that this has failed closed and is not allowing any water to flow through. A good way to verify that the check valve is the issue is we can disconnect our chemical lines here, make sure no product is being picked up, and then we can disconnect here and connect our strainer right to this line. If we're pulling water, we can verify that it was the check valve that was preventing water from coming through. The next issue that we're going to jump into is what to do if your unit isn't pulling anything, so we're not getting any water or any product. Typically, when this is the case, you'll notice that your pump is cycling faster than normal. There's a couple causes for this issue. The first would be any loose connection in our suction line, any loose screw band where we could be getting air in. And the second is going to be kind of similar with the O-ring on this hose bar, acting as a seal that's also going to prevent air from getting in that line. If that's damaged or missing, you're going to pull air, and you'll never pull that water or solution that you need. The third cause is going to be the pump itself. The diaphragm on the inside has likely been damaged. So the pump is trying to cycle but not actually able to pull any solution, and in that case the pump will need to be replaced. The next issue that we're going to jump into is foam quality, whether that be sporadic foaming or your unit not foaming. There's going to be three main components that we want to look at for this. The first is going to be to make sure that our air pressure is set to 60 psi. The second is going to be to make sure that that needle valve is 3/4 of one turn open. And the third is going to be to make sure that our chemical lines are intact, no damage, and no damages to our quick connect fittings. The next issue that we're going to address is what to do if chemical gets back into your water tank. If this is something you're noticing, it's going to be that your check valve in your solution line has failed and needs to be replaced. The next issue that we're going to take a look at is what to do if you're getting chemical back to your air connections. Typically what you'll see here is bubbling at your air connection or at the air regulator bowl. This will mean that your check valve in your air line has failed, allowing solution back to your air regulator. That'll mean that your check valve needs to be replaced. The next thing we're going to get into is the air regulator. If you ever notice that you can't adjust your air regulator, or that there's air coming out of the top of your regulator, or that your air regulator can't maintain air pressure during normal use, it's a sign that your air regulator is going to need to be replaced. Alright everyone, so this has been troubleshooting the EZBlend Foam Unit. If you have any other questions, any other concerns, feel free to reach out to us and we'd be happy to get you taken care of.